going to be making a flower arrangement with these big oversized envelopes. They were made so that you can put flowers in them with some floral foam. And I already put one of them together here. So when you order these, they're available from Amazon. And so they come 5 to a package. So they have the black and white one. There is purple white stripe, and then burgundy and white, pink and white, and then black and white polka dots. And these are all really sturdy, so they won't have any problems holding the flowers, you know, as you transport them and gift them. And I'm going to go ahead and make up another one of these boxes so you can see. So you just fold it upward, you know, so that it's essentially almost done. And then you just put these 2 flaps in. Let's just fold them all first. First flap to go down is this one, and then the 2 sides, and then last is this one that inserts right into the center. So just like that, and the box is done. Okay, and so we're going to be putting some foam, some floral foam that is meant for wet, you know, just so it retains the water and then you can stick your flowers in them. So I already have a few pieces of foam in here, but I'm going to go ahead and show you how I'm doing it. So this is a normal block of foam, and I'm not doing exactly the width of this. I'm going to make it slightly smaller, just because I want to have space for the bag. It'll be easier to put the bag, the water that's going to be holding the water in, and also allow more space for water, you know, after you're done, so you can fill it with water. So I'm just going to mark it right there, and then slice it down. What you want to do with these foams is just to let it sink on its own. Don't press it down, because you might end up with some air pockets, and they soak up the water fairly quickly. So you just really just let it float there and it'll sink on its own. And I'm going to stick them in so that the taller end is upright. Okay, so just put them right there, right next to each other. And then fold this down. And really fold it all the way down to the bottom. And then again, I would fold it down about another inch, just because we're going to want to access the front part of the foam for the front of the envelope. Okay, so now that I have the foam ready, I'm going to try to make this a little bit sturdier by bending just a little bit more. So again, that side goes in, and then the sides, and then this last tab inserts into the center. Okay, that's much better. All right, so now I'm ready to set the foam in here. Just like this. So the bag itself helps to hold the foam in place, but also, like I mentioned, I want to have a little bit of extra space so I can put water in there, so that, you know, after, you know, a day or two, it still has plenty of water to soak up into the foam. Okay, and so for this one, we're going to be using some pink spray roses as well as hypericum berries, and have a little bit of greenery in there. So let's get started. And I am going to start off with some of the berries. And just so I can have it the right height, I want them to end up maybe around here. So I'm going to go ahead and snip it right there. And I actually like the leaves on these, so I'm going to leave them on. I think that this one I'm going to want more towards the back. So yeah, I think that's a good height. Well, I'm actually going to be putting a card in here, so maybe I don't want it that tall. So I'm going to pull it out and I'm going to take off the bottom leaves and cut it a little bit shorter. Okay, I'm going to stick it back in, but not into the same hole. Anytime you pull something out of the foam, you want to use a new hole because then the stem will have contact with the foam and be able to absorb the water. Okay. Yeah, because I'm going to be sticking a card in this later, so I want it to be low enough where you can see the back of the envelope and still see the card. Okay, and then up next will be a rose. Let's do a bigger bunch. So we're not going to need any of these leaves back here because the roses are going to be sitting pretty low. And I can already tell that I'll probably have to cut these apart and insert them individually. So let me just go ahead and do that. Separate them. Yeah, I'm not really liking how far it's sticking out. So I'm going to pull that one out and just separate them and that way place them individually. And I'm going to have this one coming out the front. And we really want to cover in this space. But I'll do that with another rose later on. So just continue sticking roses around. Look how cute this bud is. And then let's go ahead and put some more berries over here. This one is a little bit broken, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that off. And then this is going to go right over here. Again, I want to make sure I cover this space up, so I'm going to focus on it right now. Yeah, I'll fill in the bottom. Oh, this is perfect. We had some, remember the little berries that were broken before? I can use those now. Stick them down in here. Along with this other branch. Covered it quite nicely. And the leaves and this little Y shape here is actually going to be getting in the way of the foam. So it's actually better to just go ahead and cut it and then insert them separately. See how it's a much nicer straight line? That will definitely be easier to insert. Okay, and just so I don't forget, I'm going to go ahead and insert some berries, maybe over here, to kind of balance things out. And I'm inserting them into the water spots, so they'll help keep the foam in place as well. I'm not really liking this little one because it's kind of stuck down in here, so I'm going to separate it from the other roses and insert it individually. Okay, it's coming along quite nicely. I'm going to go ahead and fill in with some more roses here, and then I'll probably just insert some berries in the center right there. And again, I'm going to cut these down. Over here, they were hanging kind of low. I'm going to cut it down just a little bit more and then reinsert it. That is done. And then Have a cute little card here. Will you be my bridesmaid? Imagine receiving this little arrangement with a nice little question. Okay, so for this next one, we are going to have some berries as well as some anemones. Such a hard word for me. Okay, so I'm going to have the anemones lining up the back. I'm probably going to use about 3 of them and then have berries in the front. I'm going to go ahead and fill in this spot in the front. And using the leaves to kind of cover the front a little bit. Twisted it a little bit just so it could go with the line, the envelope line. Just take a look and see if everything is a good height. And I think it is. Let's see. Seems like I could use some more berries here, so luckily I have a little stem left right here. And maybe I won't use the leaves on this one. I'll just cut it much shorter. So now time for the anemones. And with these, I want them to rise up around here. So that's where I'm going to cut it. And the stems for the anemones are rather soft, so I don't want to stick them in the foam. And that's where it helps to have the foam pieces somewhat smaller than the box itself. That way you can just insert it between the foam and that plastic bag. That is looking quite good. And then I'm gonna also add some greenery in the back. Just trying to determine how tall this should be. Since we're sticking this in the foam, it doesn't really need to be the full length of where we want it to be, because we can just insert it at whatever height we want. I feel that greenery makes such a difference. Such a different look. Look, you see? Yeah, everything looks fairly even. That was good. All right, and then for this one, I have this encouraging card. A nice little pick-me-up. It says, "You're brave, bold, kind, proud, courageous, fierce, strong, determined, inspiring, and loved." How nice would it be to get one of these arrangements for someone? All right, so that is it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you like the little flower arrangement boxes, like I said, they're available from Amazon, so I do have a link below that you can click and go check them out. Thanks for joining me today.